Welcome. We're going to talk about what personal brand actually means for creatives. Because when we hear brand or personal brand, we think like logo, colors, that whole idea of brand as if it was for a big brand. And when we're actually talking about personal brand or personal branding, we're actually just talking about getting clarity on who you are. It's not that we're going to be creating a brand or we're going to create an identity. It's really just getting into understanding who you already are and getting that in a tone, in a voice that always is recognizable by people that see you, that want to get your work or things as such. And with that in mind, you're not locked in because we are evolving beings. And for instance, with my work, when I first started with ceramics, I was using black and white clay, and it was raw and very different from what is now. Back then, my personal brand had a different voice, a different tone, a different color. And as I found my way, my authenticity, my new way of expressing myself with colors and texture, my personal brand changed and my voice changed because I felt more like me, more confident in my skin as a creative and as an artist. So wherever you are in your journey, you just acknowledge that you are there and really get to understand and explore more about your own personal brand. So one thing that is really essential is all of that is an invisible thread. Yes, you can choose fonts that you like and represent you. You can choose colors and all of that. But the personal brand is very much that energy that you have, that people notice when you arrive into places, when you are comfortable being yourself. That's what it is. It's like what your friends, your best friends or your family know you as. And sometimes it's actually really good to ask for people that know us well, like, how would you define me? What are my traits? Because it does bring a lot of clarity because our perception at times can be a bit distorted about ourselves. So like, keep that in mind and ask like people close to you, how would they define yourself? What are your personality traits that they notice? And see if that is like, oh yeah, I actually have that a lot. I wouldn't actually describe myself as funny, but actually I have like a specific sense of humor. So understanding all of that will help you a lot with identifying your personal brand. And then, so basically, the thing with inspiration and modeling. So lots of times people go on a Pinterest search when we think about branding. It's like, oh, I like this, and that will be me. And one thing is getting inspired when we always are getting inspired by other people, other creatives, ideas, tones, styles, aesthetics. And the other thing is creating your own. So what really represents you in this moment of now? And that's the exercise of understanding like, this font, I like it. Basically, do what you like, what is pleasing for you, what visually is interesting. And I personally am at the moment exploring different fonts, exploring different formats. And I feel like my brand, my personal branding is actually shifting once again. So I'm in this process of like brainstorming on the go and seeing how I like what I created online in a week time. Because I think that's often really good. It's like sometimes like, oh, I may try this font. I kind of like it today. And then you come back 1 week, it's like, oh, definitely not doing that again. So even if that's the case, it's a great way of getting clarity. So sometimes just do it and take a little risk of changing things can also be totally fine. And the main thing is, the brand is that alive thing that is always changing with you as you're changing and evolving. Not that you can create your personal brand to be something completely like you, stable, neutral, and everything else changes and falls into it, but it can also be alive and be changing. So the thing is, when you are aligned and when you're expressing yourself with your authenticity and personal brand, rather than like what people would like to hear, what would be the best way to say that. You just are who you are. It really gets into a frequency that people connect with you. And like, imagine that you hop, let's say, on my Instagram. As soon as you open the page and you see the grid, before you even click into something, you already felt something. Your brain already read, based on your personal experiences, what my profile, what my personal brand means to you. It can be that it's inspiring, can be that it's bold, can be that it's like the idea of breaking the rules and going different, or is classy, is elegant, is fun, is different, is unique, is authentic, like whatever that might be, you're gonna see straight up. And then as you go deeper in one of the pieces of content, like a reel or some photos, the voice that I'm using, on the sense of like the tone, the words, the way of expressing myself in all the other elements, visual, text, writing, voiceover, talking to camera, everything gonna create that image. And we cannot control what image the other person gonna create from us, because the same material, the same profile, let's say my profile for instance, gonna create a different experience and emotion and feedback on you than what will create on someone that's your friend or your family. So it's not for everyone. The idea is not creating something that is easy to be liked by everyone and anyone. It's just creating something that is who you are on this here and now, and in that way you're gonna really connect and resonate with people that are aligned with you, that will like your work and what you're creating. So I think that's very important to clarify. And then I think the key thing, clarity is where the feeling of being magnetic really is. So when you are clear about who you are and what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing, everything just flows way easier. So the big key thing about personal branding now is getting clarity on who you are, where you're going, and also who you want to be, because we are on this constant personal evolution. So just keep that in mind, that having a clear picture of that's who I am and that's who I'm becoming. And there is this fine line that blurs in between both things. To me, personally, that's where my personal brand is. At the moment, I am Bianca Pitan, I'm a ceramic artist, I've been teaching, and all this new version of myself is becoming my new personal branding. So keep in mind that, look at other people for inspiration always. It just expands ourselves, but find who you are. No one is better or worse than any. We are just in different steps on our ladder. That's the only thing. So I hope that brings a bit of clarity for personal branding, and we're gonna dive deep into it, so then we can actually identify your own personal branding. And in that way, you have, as if it was a brand, you have that kind of branding guideline, your personal brand guideline, and in that way, you can really feel consistent, thriving, and you can look back at it when you're feeling a bit unsure. But I will see you in the next lesson.